What's happening, people? Scarfy Spurs Talk here, back with another one of these weekly live shows every Monday, 8 p.m. Today, I'm joined with three guests. I've got two of them here. Third one will be joined in a minute. There you go, Rachel. Firstly, Rachel, regular on the channel. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm very good, thank you. It's great to have you on again. I'm sure we get into that a little bit, that announcement. I've got Connor. I've got Connor from Hotspur Things. So, Connor, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm all good, thanks.
Yeah, you're good?
Yeah,
Fantastic. It's great to have you on. And Travis, how are you?
Hello, very well. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm very good, thank you. Once again, great to have you on because I believe it's both of your debuts on the channel. So fantastic, both at once, brilliant.
Thank you. Thanks for letting me on.
Before we crack into it, if you're new, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you like it, leave a like and feel free to get involved in the comments. Big up to Tim in the chat, who's happy with himself because he's the first one in here. So big up, Tim. Shout out to you, Rachel. Before we start, so yeah, you're regular on the channel. As part of, you were fantastic last weekend, as part of getting more women on the podcast, as part of getting more people with learning disability, giving them that opportunity, that voice. So is there anything you'd like to say to the listeners? Because, I'm very, very happy about this, that you're going to be regular on the channel every week unless you can't make it. So, yeah, sum up how
I
you feel
will
about that,
say
because I'm
I
absolutely
didn't watch
delighted.
Saturday's game. I was busy, so I did. But I've had feedback. But I have listened to reports, and obviously we won. So,
Yeah,
which is the main thing. Obviously, I was at the protest on Saturday, which wasn't good compared to the Man United one. I was quite disappointed. I got very, 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 very wet. I was soaked. But that's what you do when you stand up for the things that you want. You'll stand in the rain, the sun, no matter what, to get your voices heard. I'm just disappointed that there weren't many people there, to be honest.
yeah, but it's great to have you on, Rachel, on the channel. That is fantastic. So firstly, let's crack into it. I'm going to come to you first, Travis. I want to know your thoughts on the team before it was announced. For example, we had Emerson back in the starting 11. We had Dyer and Perisic dropped. Ryan Mason took that risk, and it what looked like changing the formation, which looked like in the end a 4-4-2. Rachael was starting as well. So what do you make of the team news when it was initially announced? Because there was a couple of surprises in there.
The team news for me is always very frustrating because I've completely gone off Eric Dyer. I mean, probably 2, maybe 3 seasons ago, he was absolutely mustard, and now I think he's just one. I don't think he can be bothered, and two, I think he's past his sell-by date. The list is endless with Eric Dyer, and I think his whole attitude has just completely changed towards his game of football. Really, Perisic, I think he's a veteran now. He's getting on a bit, but
Yeah,
he still gives 100% every game.
he does. Yeah,
I think the biggest thing for me at the moment is we're missing Bentancur. You know,
yeah,
he is the glue to our team. He is like another Moussa Dembele. You know, the way he plays his football, he's absolutely brilliant. And I think that's one of the best signings we've ever made. But yeah, it's just I think what's frustrating for me, and I'm sorry if I'm going off a bit subject here.
no, you're
Um,
right.
I think that the management we've had, as in Poch, we've had Mourinho, we've had Conte, 3 of the best managers in the world, and we've shown nothing, and I feel sorry for Harry Kane. I think he's not like, and again I'm probably going off subject here a little bit, so I do apologise, but he's not like the Agueros, he's not like the Ronaldos. When he's substituted, you never ever see Harry Kane spit his dummy out the pram ever.
Yeah,
And I think that's such a big thing. I mean, Harry Kane is an idol anyway. He's an icon. But yeah, I just think it's the way we've played. I mean, I think the best I've seen us play all season. Well, there's been a couple of games, but against United, we can have that fight when we want to. But our defence and our midfield at the minute is just all over the place.
yeah, no, I completely agree with you. Yeah, thank you for that, Travis. Connor, what do you make of the team when it was announced? Because as I said, there was a few surprises in there. Some people weren't sure what to think of it. So what do you make of it? Did it surprise you?
Yeah, it was breath of fresh air to see Emerson back in the lineup. I was quite happy to see him back. I thought he played all right as well.
Yeah.
With the lineup, usually you don't really expect anything new because it's same old players, and when you see it, it can often make you quite miserable for the rest of the game.
That's for sure. Yeah, no, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. Rachel, I want to know your thoughts on the team when it was announced. What do you make of? Were you surprised to see Emerson in the starting 11? Were you surprised to see Dyer and Perisic drop both in the same game? What do you make of those bold decisions?
When I see Eric weren't in the starting new, I was like, wow, it really did shock me.
Were you happy?
But I think it needed. He needed to be dropped. It needed a freshen up. And obviously we won. It's too much of a coincidence. Eric Dyer gets dropped. We win.
Yeah.
But Alfie, who I said he watched the game, so he knows what he what happened. Obviously, like I said, I didn't watch it, so my first time I didn't watch Tottenham. That's
No, fair enough.
lately. Is there anything you'd like to say about Tottenham?
What do you make of it?
How they're talking about Tottenham. What was on your team news?
Well, something been dropped for Richarlison. I'm like, I mean, no, it's been dropped because of this. And Dyer needs to go because I have to think Romero cannot be relying on Dyer all the time because too many chances, and he's one of the reasons where we are now.
Well done.
Thank you, Alfie. Perfect. There you go. It's a perfect recap of the game. Anyone who missed it, thank you, Alfie. Perfect. So I'll come back to you, Connor. Back to winning ways again, and got a clean sheet again. If anyone doesn't know, it was the first clean sheet in the league actually for 11 matches, which is surprising for a so-called top 6 team. How does it feel to win again, and how does it feel to keep a clean sheet for you, Connor?
It was quite nice to see, but it does tell you that as soon as Dyer's not in the lineup, things do change.
Yeah. But, do you reckon anything else had the impact, or do you reckon it was just Dyer not playing?
No, it wasn't just Dyer. I think Mason, since he's, I know obviously we got off to a bad start against Liverpool, but besides that, he's been good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Against Man United in that game, I thought he did quite well. He definitely rallied them together and made them play.
Yeah, absolutely. He sure did. That's for sure. Travis, what does it feel like to win again? How does it feel?
They suck you in again, Tottenham Hotspur. They pull you out and suck you back in again. I love seeing the team win. It's one of the best feelings in the world. With the crowd in the stadium and the whole atmosphere. I don't get up Tottenham much. I've been for a good while. But I think Ryan Mason, he has done extremely well considering he's only been in charge of three games since we got rid of Stellini. But I think the good thing with Ryan Mason is he knows the Tottenham way. He's been at Tottenham since he was young. He come through the ranks like Harry Kane did. But I think he also sees the errors that Conte made. I think Conte played Dyer near enough every game. And I think, as I said before, Eric Dyer is well past his sell-by date now. And I think if we don't buy in the transfer window, I think we're going to be in trouble in terms of our ranks of goalkeeper. We've got, I think, Loris we won't see ever again. We've got Fraser Forster and Brandon Austin. You know, Brandon Austin's an academy player, and Fraser
Yeah.
Forster is what, Fraser Forster's what, 39, 40 now. So I think that's something
Yeah.
into.
I think I had a look at he's a year younger than Lloris. So what is Lloris? Is he 38 or 39? I reckon Lloris is 39 and Forster's 38. It's definitely late 30s, that's for sure. But no, thank you, Travis. Rachel, how does it feel to win again? How does it feel to win a football match? Keep
To
a clean
win
sheet.
again, it felt good.
Yeah.
That feeling that you get when you win like you said, like a little while now. So it's nice to get back on winning ways. How long for?
That's the thing. Can you see us keeping it up going into Villa, and then you got Brentford, or is it just a one-off?
100%.
Bit lucky. Yeah.
I'm a bit
Hard to
iffy.
tell.
I think we could do Brentford's. Villa, I think we would draw.
Mm.
No, I think we would
We'll
draw.
get 2-1.
Would you take a point?
I'll
Both
take
of you.
anything. Like, at the moment, if we've got to take
Yeah.
what we can get, and
Because
we need,
Villa are behind
we
us,
need
so
to
a point
end-
would be better. Yeah.
we need to end as strong as we can at the end of the day. And as Alfie pointed out, Eric Dyer, he does need to leave,
Yeah.
but there is talk of him getting a new contract.
What does Alfie make of that new contract?
He's not happy.
No.
Putting
I
us
think,
into more shambles as it is.
yeah, completely agree with you there, Alfie. I mean, lots of Spurs fans will agree with you there. I think they're not very happy to see Dyer sign a new contract. Been there a while, hasn't he?
I
Yeah,
just think it
definitely.
shows our club's direction if you're going to go and offer Eric Dyer.
Yeah,
a new
Rachel,
contract.
does that sum up Daniel Levy for you? Not getting rid of a player in time for Davies and Sanchez as well. For me, a player who should have left a long time ago, but he doesn't, and then he's not replaced. So I think personally for me, Dyer's here stopping Levy by a new signing. You're going out there and signing someone, because signing a new contract for Dyer, every time that we signed, like we said the Celso, right, who was on loan and we signed permanently, they made it as clear as possible that it was a new signing, and they try and do that with new contracts as well. They try and big it up. So for you, does Dyer staying at Tottenham for both of you kind of sum up Levy for you? Do you reckon, Rachel?
So, did you call me?
Yeah, that's all right. I was just saying about Eric Dyer, him staying at Tottenham and been here this period of time and signing a new contract. Does that sum up Levy for you?
It does. It's very much Levy all over. It just means he ain't got to go out and buy a new centre back. Right. How can you keep giving somebody so many chances? And we want to push forward. How? You just can't. And
Yeah.
I'm very much Levy out, and I'm always, but I am open to other people's opinions. I won't. Once upon a time, I'd argue with the Levy in, but now I take opinions and I listen to why they think Levy is doing a great job.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Travis, where do you stand with that Levy in, Levy out, ENIC in, ENIC out? Where's your kind of stance on it, and has it changed in recent months? Because myself personally, only January have I really started to turn and think these owners, Daniel Levy, they're kind of holding the club back. So I want to know where you stand on it.
I'm massively Levy out, Levy and ENIC out. I think if I, as I say, I can get up to Tottenham, but it's just a lot of money to obviously go and watch the team.
Yeah.
I would
Is that another thing you think they're doing wrong? The season ticket prices, how high they are, bearing in mind they're the highest in Europe, and they're kind of, I feel at the moment, loads of different football clubs that are kind of, if you like, taxing the taxing like normal working class people out of the game. It is sad. So I want to know your thoughts on that and what you make of the ridiculous prices at the moment. I mean, they haven't gone up. That is one thing.
Yeah, I think the season ticket prices are absolutely disgusting. Personally, there's people that would give their left arm to go and watch Tottenham play. And there's people out there that can afford it. But I think Daniel Levy, he is so money orientated. I mean, you look at what he's done to the ground. I mean, I done the Skywalk last year, and so I'm
Yeah.
not a Daniel Levy fan at
Okay.
all. But what he's done to that stadium is absolutely incredible. I'll take me out of
Yeah.
him. But from a football
And the business side of things, I think he's done a lot for the club, to be fair, keeping it financially stable. Some of the deals he's come up with, like with F1 and the sponsors. So he does deserve credit. What do you reckon?
Yeah. But I think from a footballing perspective, I think he doesn't care. I don't want to sound derogatory, but I don't think he actually cares about the club in general. The employment of what he's brought into the club. I mean, you look at Lo Celso, like you were saying earlier, and Ndombele. I was so excited when we signed Ndombele because you've only got to watch his videos on YouTube of how good he can actually be. But he come and joined Tottenham, and he flopped so quickly. I think a lot of these buyers that Daniel Levy gets are panic buyers.
Yeah.
And I think we could have got Paulo Dybala for the last 4 or 5 seasons. He would have fitted in perfectly, a bit like James Maddison. He was
so many players. Yeah, so many players we could have had, like Maddison, Fernandes, Grealish, Willian, Hazard, that we've all missed out on because of Daniel Levy. But Connor, I want to know where you stand with Levy and Levy out, Enoch in, Enoch out, where you stand at the moment, and if your mind's changed recently.
Yeah, I'm definitely Levy out. As I've got older and I've started to understand those sort of things more. I've definitely taken the side of Levy out. I think, like you say, he's really good with the business. But I think he does need to invest a bit more in the team. Yeah. Like Travis said, you got Dybala we could have signed, and there was so many others. I think it was Bruno Fernandes a couple of seasons ago. We could have signed him. And it's just these little things, like even when the Dybala transfer fell through, it was to do with image rights. And it's like,
right, okay.
What a silly thing to lose a player over.
Yeah, it's just picky, really, isn't it? That's at the end of the day. Yeah, I'm gonna be a nuisance, if you like, and I come around and ask you a yes or no question. This is a bit awkward one because some people are kind of in the middle. So, firstly, Rachel, I'm going to come with you. I know you've answered this question, but I'm going to ask you again a week on. Do you support change for Tottenham and what they're doing and some of the stuff they've done recently? For example, they've sent an email out to the club. We don't know if they've responded or not. We never really saw that email sent. We saw it before it was sent. Who knows if it's changed? It could have been changed, couldn't it? And some of the stuff they've done, like with the leaflets, like the Levy out things, you got people holding this little poster. So what do you make of what they're trying to achieve and what they're doing at the moment? Yes or no, do you support them?
Change for Tottenham. I didn't see them Saturday. They just said they was going to do that march, which they didn't.
Yeah, they said they changed their mind because of a poll they done and it didn't receive as many votes.
Yeah, well,
I never saw the poll myself.
So I said I've got nothing against them, but they didn't follow through for what they said they was going to do.
Fair enough.
Apart from
Can you ask Alfie what he makes of change for Tottenham? See what he says.
Would you change for Tottenham?
I just feel like they're running a account just for views because I don't think they're saying that they're not.
UK?
Yeah. They're making it out like they leave it out like but they are not. They're not. They was gonna do a march, but they cancelled it out.
Yeah.
And delete their post about it. So
yeah, okay, thank you, Alfie. That's Alfie. What Alfie thinks, everybody. Perfect. Thank you, Alfie. Tell him well done for that. Perfect. So coming around next, Travis. Yes or no? Do you support change for Tottenham? And after that, yes or no, you can explain why.
I don't really have a yes or no answer. I'm on the fence with it because there is so much that could change inside that football club in such a short space of time. With the protests, And I think what gets me is, all the fans on. We only got to read through the sites in the no ITK sites and stuff that fans are saying, we're gonna chant Levy out, throughout the games and stuff. But if you watch the percentage inside that ground of how many people actually chant "We want Levy out" compared to the 63,000 people that sit in that stadium game in, game out, it's only a very small percentage that will sit there and will protest through the game. And I don't think every Spurs supporter is on the same page as everyone else. Everyone needs to be singing off the same hymn sheet. If they really want change in that club and they want Levy out of that club, they've all got to come together. And I know that's easier said than done. I know that. But everyone has to come together as supporters to get that man out of our club.
Absolutely, Travis, and I really appreciate that you brought that up, because I've said something that for me is... Yeah, go on, Rachel.
This is what the Eric Out group is trying to do. We're outside there every home game, without fail. We're outside opposite the club shop. You've got some people that have latched onto my group that you get the fences saying they don't want to socialise themselves with us because of the way they talk. But, as you said, you want him out, then you join as a group. You come together. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they don't. They all, like you said, every single media post I've seen on Twitter is Levy out, Levy out. People changing our colours for Levy out. But
they don't turn up.
But they don't turn up. And
yeah.
I was like, you go to the game, why can't you come and stand, even if it's for 10 minutes? Like, come and stand with us and show that you want Levy out. And but they don't. And that's what gets my back up, when you've got so you want Levy out, but you're not willing to do anything to help us get Levy out. Like, you can't give the season ticket holders up. I'm not asking to do that, because we'll be there after Levy is gone. But you've got to do something. You've got to hit him in his pocket. If that means you don't put your season ticket on exchange, you leave your seat free, or you do not buy nothing in there. You have everything before you go in, and you do the whole game without anything. But yesterday I came onto Facebook, onto Twitter this morning, and they're inside bars singing songs and doing all their drums or whatever they're doing. No, but I don't like that. Yeah, fair enough. Enjoy yourself.
Do you think bringing flags and banners, like Levy and Indy out flags and banners inside the stadium, is a good thing? Because he is there and he has seen some of this. So do you think that is a good idea?
It's like at Man United game. He heard that crap, they picked up on it. The whole crap that people were singing Levy out. And I don't understand why. Oh, you're doing it at Man United, but you're not doing it the next game. It needs to be a continuous, and this is a constant thing that we're saying. It has to be. You can't just do it one game, singing him out, and then the next day you just singing him in. Like, you've got to support the players, granted, but you've got to make him feel as uncomfortable as possible, and like, that's where our fans are going completely wrong. And that's why we're saying, if you are Levy out, go and get the purple. It looks yellow to me, but it's purple gold scarf that we're all getting. I've got mine. It came on Saturday.
Where is it?
Right now. But we'll change the colours. We've put them colours as we are purple and gold until Tottenham sold. And that is what we stand for.
Thank you, Rachel. It's 2-0 Forest, by the way. That will not impact Tottenham, but it looks like it sends Southampton down. It's interesting because also Everton won earlier, which was good for us with obviously Brighton. So Brighton remain, I think it's 2 points behind, but still have 2 games more to play. And Daniel's just echoing the same thing there to one there with the double. So, and Rachel, I did on Park Lane Podcast, which I co-host every Saturday morning. It's now moved actually to Sunday night, but I usually host. I said, I think it was about a month ago, I called out the people who spam Levy out on social media, but they hide behind their screen and don't turn up to protests, and you get absolutely annihilated by the Spurs fan base for calling that out, and that really didn't go well. Trust me, you get a lot of abuse for that, but yeah, why not turn up? But Connor, I'm going to come to you. Yes
Harry,
or no? Yeah,
sorry to interrupt. Can I add something after you've spoken to Connor? Is that all right?
absolutely, you can do. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank
2 seconds. Connor, yes or no? Because obviously with your page, Hotspur Things, which is a great page, by the way, do you support change for Tottenham, with that page, and why?
2-1.
I do support it. I think anyone that's trying to make an effort, whether it be being there in person or getting people behind them on social media, because obviously social media is such a powerful thing now. I do think it's a good thing. I do believe that there's more of an impact when people make a stand outside the stadium, or they go to a game and they just shout about it all game. Obviously, that's only a small group, but the more the better with that sort of thing. But yeah, anyone trying to make a change, I do agree with it.
Okay, thank you very much. And a quick score update for you, delivered by Alfie, actually. There, Southampton have got a goal back, pulled back to 2-1, but I think they really need to win if they want any chance of staying up. But Travis, you wanted to add something, so go for it.
I think what's very frustrating for a Tottenham fan as well, especially the older era. I mean, my dad's supported Spurs for like 50 plus years. It's a long time to support the club. And I think when you had the days of watching Jimmy Greaves, Ozzy Ardiles, Pat Jennings, these players, they played for the badge. They wanted to be at Tottenham. There was no arguing. There was no disputes. You're now watching a bunch of players that cause disasters, that have individual performances that are absolutely awful. I think Harry Kane, as frustrated as he is at the moment, I think he will be Tottenham through and through. Obviously, there's going to be people saying that Harry will leave in the summer, he'll go to Bayern Munich or he'll go to Man United. If he does, he does. But he's always given 100% to that club, off the pitch and on the pitch, no matter what he's done. And I think it's when you go from having Bill Nicholson as your chairman to Daniel Levy, there's a huge difference between the two. And I know this was years and years ago, but the difference between the two, and Bill Nicol, as you say, if you don't want to play for the shirt, off you go. And I think it's been so soft now, and a lot of players. I mean, look at Emmanuel Adebayor. He came from Arsenal to play for Tottenham, which was brilliant. But again, he was there for the money. He didn't want to play for the team. He was there for the money. And I'd hate to think how many other players that are at Tottenham that are in the same mindset as that.
Yeah. Travis, is there any individual players for you right now in this Spurs team that aren't playing for the shirt, or, aren't fit to wear the shirt for you?
Well, you've only got to look at
Or
the back
is it just
four.
a collective?
You've only got to look at the back four, back three, minus Romero. I think Romero has been absolutely superb since the day has come. He's absolutely solid. He always gives 100%. He's one of the best midfielders best defenders in the world, in my opinion. But when you look at Eric Dyer, Ben Davies, that back three is such a soft back three. Eric Dyer might as well not be on the pitch. And I think it's the back three. I think Lucas Moura has completely lost the plot. He's been playing for the under-21s. He's completely lost his class. And I think, I know they're not at Tottenham.
And the under-21s got relegated from Premier League 2 as well. So that is quite a dent in terms of the long term for Spurs, because it's quite a bad day Sunday. You've got your Spurs women who lost heavily 3-0 to Man United women, which puts them at risk of relegation, which is such a shame. Obviously, hope it doesn't happen. And also, as I said, the under-21s getting relegated as well. So that also will worry Levy going forward, because under-21s obviously being the closest to the first team. But yeah, no, thank you for that, Travis.
But then it boils down to why are people going to want to spend the money to go and watch the team when there's been zero backing by the chairman? We as fans, we are banging our heads against a brick wall. It's the same every season. I think the best season we had probably was the 2021 season. When Dele Alli was absolutely superb, absolutely brilliant. Or when we got to the Champions League final. Other than that, Daniel Levy's done nothing to the club. You know, if anything, Paratici, when he was at Tottenham, he brought in Bentancur and Kulusevski, two of the best signings we've ever made. But Daniel Levy as an individual has not supported the club at all, and he's not right for the club. He's really not. He's the poison to our club.
Well said, Travis. I totally.
Yeah. Okay, add in a little before we focus on the game on Saturday. I'm going to go around and ask you, because you brought up Paratici, which I find interesting. So firstly, Connor, what do you make of Paratici's time at Tottenham overall, and what would you rate it out of 10?
Out of 10, or I'll maybe give him a 6, because obviously we did get Kulusevski and Bentancur, but that seems to be more of a popular thing now, where you sign two players from the same club and it actually helps them gel into the team because they've both played for the same team already. But besides that, we haven't really made many good signings. I know we got Udogie, but that's more of I'm thinking that's more of a Levy signing, because it's always like looking towards the future. All those young signing type of things.
He had a great season with Udinese, though, isn't he, down that wing? But at the same time,
he
would work perfect in a Conte system, but he's not here, is he, Connor?
No. But besides that, really. I personally don't think Paratici's been brilliant, but at the same time, you know, Levy's the one that hired him, and there's been all of this court stuff, and surely he would know something about his background.
Yeah, I personally don't get why he was appointed in the first place. Rachael and Alfie, what do you both make of Paratici's time at Tottenham? Rachael, I'll let you answer that, but I want to see what also Alfie rates his time out of 10.
Well, there was only two players that I thought was what he brought in. I thought he was just on his phone looking at Candy Crush. That's every time I see him. That is my saying. What's he doing? Like his transfer, and what's he doing? Oh, he's always on his phone, but there's no players coming in. What's he doing? Asking his mum for a cup of tea. That is exactly what I used to say at home to Alfie, to Stuart. What is he doing? He was brought in, but he's not doing nothing. We're getting linked with all these players, but we're getting nobody. So he used to wipe me up.
Could you both rate it out of 10 there, both of you? What do you reckon?
I'm going with 3.
3, Alfie?
No, not
Paratici.
Yeah, what would you rate him?
When we first appointed him, I thought he was gonna get us good signing, but all he's done, he bought players from Italian. He made Daniel Levy keep the Italian top terriers, Sterling in charge.
But you know that players going.
Oh, players.
Yeah. What is he? How about his time?
He's done F all for the club. So I rate it at 0 out of 10.
Oh, thank you both. Big up Alfie. That's what Alfie makes of Paratici's time at Tottenham. Travis, what do you make of Paratici's time at Tottenham? And could you rate it out of 10? Because you mentioned Bentancur and Kulusevski, how they're two fantastic signers, and they really are. You can't really doubt that. But the opposite argument to that would be neither of them were really heard of before we signed them, and some will say we struck gold. Some will say Kulusevski's gone missing now. So what do you make of generally Paratici's time out of Tottenham? If you could rate out of 10, and then I'm going to give my rating.
I'm going back to what Rachael said about him being on Candy Crush on his phone. If anything, he was on FaceTime to Daniel Levy, because I strongly think I think Levy, like he holds everyone back, was holding Paratici back, because I think Paratici is the best footballing director we have ever had, and I think if he was given the reins, like all the management should have been given, he could have gone out there and completely changed the team that we've got now. So I think for bringing in...
You think it's Levy and stopping him?
Massively so. Massively so,
Yeah.
because I think he only got Bentancur and Kulusevski because of how bad our midfield was at the time. Because obviously we sold ourselves and we lost Ndombele, who was supposed to be the best thing since sliced bread. Yes, Ndombele had a good couple of games, but again, he was lazy. But Paratici, I think, from a personal perspective, from what I could see he could have brought to the team, I'd give him probably a 7 or an 8 out of 10.
Okay. No, fair enough. I'm going to be extremely harsh on Paratici because I look at the signings and none of them are really performing now. I'm going to give him, actually only going to give him a 4 out of 10. That is for me because the signings haven't worked out yet. But at the same time, that the reason he's getting at least 4 is because of, like, for example, in the summer, we said there's 6 or 7 positions that we needed and we filled every single one, from backup goalkeeper to a backup striker in Richarlison. And we've signed some established players in there, Perisic, Richarlison, Basuma, and Bentancur and Kulusevski, they've both been fantastic. But I'm going to be slightly harsh on him and give him a 4 there, which I think is he is harsh. I've got to be honest. I definitely think that is harsh. But moving on more to the
I only gave him 2, so.
Well, there you go, exactly. So, but I do agree with you about Daniel Levy there as well. But yeah, moving on because kind of focusing more onto the game. Rachel, what do you make of the performance?
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, I thought we more attacking second
Yeah.
half than first half, but I think there's still more improvements. There was no communication with no players. The only players working their socks off was Kane and Power, and Royal played good from his injury, and also the atmosphere was dead because there's some people who are just going there to waste their money, and people actually want there to go support their team, but there's players on the pitch that doesn't want to achieve Tottenham.
Well done, Alf. Well done.
Yeah, well done, Alfie. That's really well said, actually. Yeah, thank you. Because Rachel, you didn't watch the game, so that's on Rachel's behalf. So that's fantastic. Connor, what do you make of the performance yesterday? Do you agree with Alfie? A bit more attacking? Yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, it was more enjoyable to watch, which is something that our Spurs fans have been lacking for quite some time because, well,
Sure.
usually we score a goal and then just sit back. Well, that's what we used to do under Mourinho, but then this season it's been that we concede a goal and then have to fight in the last 20 minutes, but we wouldn't fight until then because, yeah, they just didn't seem to want it. But I thought against Crystal Palace, we scored that goal late in the first half, stoppage time. And in this, when we went into the second half, we were actually trying. From what I was watching, like personally, I would have said they were fighting to try and score another goal for some time, and obviously they didn't succeed. And then we ended up sitting back a little bit more to try and get the 3 points. But yeah, I was much happier with the performance and the effort.
Yeah, that's okay. Fantastic to hear. Travis, what do you make of the performance?
Yeah, we was okay. I think the problem with us is we score these goals and then we sit back. We sit back far too much, and I think we are a second half team. No matter how we play in the first half, we are a second half team. But I take my hat off to Sonny. He was tracking back and defending. But yeah, it's just it's quite. I don't know what the word is really. Because we've played poor for so long, and then we go and beat Crystal Palace, who aren't particularly a hard team to beat. When you look at the squad that we've got, and when you're up against teams like City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Liverpool have struggled all season. They really have. They're not the team they were and we score the third goal against Liverpool. They go down the other end 2 minutes later and score. But that's what I'm saying. We sit back. I think as a team, I think we was quite happy to get a point at Anfield. I think most teams would be happy to get a point at Anfield,
Definitely.
considering the place. But we sit back far too much. I think we shut off so quickly. And you go to places like Anfield and you can't do that. You can't shut off against teams like Liverpool because they will hit you on the counter attack and they will score. But again, going back to Palace, they're not the hardest teams to beat, but it seems to be the smaller teams that we struggle against.
Yeah, is that a mindset, like mentality thing for you? Because we're up for the big, well, sometimes up for the big games, but lots of teams have said that. Brighton have said that. Brentford fans have said that as well, where they're consistently performing against the big teams, but then can't follow up against the smaller teams. What do you put that down to, Travis?
I think it's just out of evidence, really. For the last 2, maybe 3 seasons, we've struggled against the smaller teams like Wolves. I mean, Brighton are an up and coming team now. They're going to be absolutely superb next season. I really do believe that. But
Yeah.
I know when I watch Spurs games, when we're playing teams like City, we're up for it. I wouldn't say we're 100%, but we're up for it. And we go and play teams like Palace, Wolves, Everton, and there's no oomph in the team, and I think that's where we drop points. That is where we drop points massively. We really do.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Travis. Next thing I mentioned, and that is Harry Kane. Harry Kane is now the second leading goal scorer in Premier League history with 209 goals in just 317 appearances, overtaking Wayne Rooney in a far lot less games. So, Alfie and Rachel, if one of you wants to answer this, I want to know your thoughts on his achievement and where we'll be without him.
Right, you want?
Yeah.
If one of you wants to answer that.
Right. My thoughts. Kane leads Tottenham through and through. He's the only one who pays for the badge at the moment. We've made him as a failure, but because we don't win trophies. We don't fight for top 4 because we get money from that, but which we don't spend on. And if it wasn't for him, we would be fighting relegation zone.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Alfie. I think you're spot on there. Connor, what do you make of Harry Kane's achievement? How amazing is it? And where do you think we would be without him? Or do you dread to think?
I'm really happy for him. To be honest, I love Harry Kane. I know all Spurs fans should, but yeah, all Spurs fans love Harry Kane. Without Harry Kane, I don't know where we'd be. It's hard to judge because we would have, you'd have somebody else there in place of him. But the amount of goals he scores, like just look this season, he's got 26 now in the Premier League.
Yeah,
And
I think so.
in this side, to be scoring 26 goals is definitely an overachievement.
Yeah, and look at the state we're in as well.
Yeah, and I wonder how many of those goals have got us points. Like, where would we be? We'd probably be mid-table without some of those goals that he scored.
We'd be fighting relegation if we didn't have Harry Kane. That's
Well,
my
Yeah,
opinion.
this is
If
a
we didn't
scary
have
thing.
Harry Kane,
What do you make of
he
the
has got
achievement then,
us
Rachel?
where we are.
Yeah, what do you make of the achievement, Rachel?
Amazing. Absolutely. I love Harry Kane and I feel sorry for him that we haven't built a team around him and to push on. And I was just reading like a few quotes earlier on. It sounds to me that he may be staying because some of his quotes is going to Europa Conference. Like, if we win, he's saying if we win. It's just, we can just take little points, like little things out of a conversation and you latch onto them. But I want him to stay. I want us to go and win a trophy with him. I want him to end his career at Tottenham. But we've got to achieve something for him. We can't just be playing around.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Rachel. Travis, I'm going to come to you and ask you your thoughts on Harry Kane's achievement, if you can quickly sum it up. And then I'm going to get on to all the questions of people of the podcast, because I've just realised there's quite a few. So, Travis, what do you make of that fantastic achievement for Kane, and where do you kind of compare him with all-time greats?
Harry Kane is the best striker in the world, and that's not me being a biased Tottenham fan. It is a fact, and it is the truth. I think the only way I think we'll keep Harry Kane is if he challenges the board. And I think I read an article on one of the Twitter pages the other day, and he was saying he stepped forward to challenge the board to say, look, what are your plans? Who are you going to get in? How's our season looking like next season? And I think he's in his rights to do that, because I think when you look at the likes of Thierry Henry, sorry to mention Arsenal, guys, I know we all absolutely despise the team, but it's the truth. Thierry Henry, he lived and breathed Arsenal. You know, he come up from the ranks like Harry Kane did. He was there, and he finished his footballing career there. But look how many trophies they won. This is the difference. Harry Kane, he has tried so hard, season in, season out. The guy smashed records for himself, like rightly so. But I think he hasn't got enough around him to guide him in the right direction to win trophies. You know, and again, it falls down to individual performances and where people want to be, whether they want to be at Tottenham or whether they want to be at Ipswich Town next year. You know, but I think Harry Kane will smash records wherever he goes. No matter what team he plays for, he will hit goals left, right, and centre, and he'll break phenomenal records. But as a footballer and as a professional, on and off the pitch, the guy is absolutely immense.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think you echo what a lot of Spurs fans think about that. So yeah, thank you for that. Now let's get on to the questions from people put forward this morning to the podcast, because there is a lot of them. For people who don't know how it works, I go around one by one and individually ask you the questions to get through them. So I'm going to do this first one from Daniel. And I'm going to give it to you, Connor. Daniel says, hello, guys. What are your thoughts on Mika Richards' comments over the weekend about Harry Kane? And if anyone doesn't know, he said something along the lines of, to not have won anything, I don't know how Harry Kane sleeps at night. So what do you make of that, Connor? Is he out of order here, or is he just spot on?
It's a hard one, because I think it's a bit unfair to say he doesn't sleep at night. I think he sleeps just fine at night. He's England's all-time top goal scorer, Spurs' all-time top goal scorer. You know, he's on his way to smash the record in the Prem if he stays. And you know, I do think there'll be a part of him that's like, I really wish I'd got some silverware. I wish I'd won some trophies. But yeah, I don't think he'll be too upset considering the career he's had, records wise and ability wise so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Travis, so I'm going to ask the next question for you, and it's from Tim, who says, given the team performance yesterday, do you think Mason might be the gaffer who can turn things around for the long term? So what do you reckon?
I think Ryan Mason, I mean, how old is Ryan Mason? Is he 32, 33?
Yeah, he's somewhere in the 30s.
I think he's 31.
He's quite young.
There you go.
I think because he's Tottenham born and bred, I think from a footballing perspective, I think he'd give his all to the club. But when you look at, and I don't want this to come out the wrong way, but when you look at the likes of, I know the managers are gone now, but when we've had Conte and we've had Mourinho, there is a slight difference between the two management in how they manage their teams. But at the same time, I think because of who Ryan Mason is, and he is Tottenham, are the players going to want to play more for him? It depends what sort of attitude he brings into the changing room. We don't know what goes on in that changing room, but it does show evidently by the way they come out on the pitch and perform. And I think Conte and Mourinho, I think they were so quite forceful towards the team, and quite abrupt and quite strong-worded, whereas I think Ryan Mason might not be that much inclined. I don't know. But to lead the team forward, I think if he was given the opportunity, I think it would boost his confidence. And who knows? Again, it's another thing I'm on the fence with because of one, his age, and two, because he might. I don't think he's got a lot of managerial experience.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, thank you, Travis. Alfie, I'm going to ask you the next question. Harry Stokes says, what do you make of Dan Juma's lack of game time? So what do you reckon that is because of, Alfie? And should he get more minutes for you?
He needs. Everyone can see his ability. He's done it off from the bench. When we played Preston North End, he came off the bench and scored, and he came off, and I think he needs more minutes. But
Yeah.
Kudus needs to be dropped, and he needs to be starting because he's been coming off the bench too many times, and ever since his injury, he's not been good. And don't get me wrong, he's a good player, but ever since his injury, he's lack of form, and so as Son has been dreadful all season, but I think it's due to Perisic and Conte's fault. But yeah, he needs more minutes.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Alfie. I think I agree with you there. Perfect. Thank you, mate. Connor, next question I'm going to give to you from Daniel. What are your thoughts on the system played at the weekend with a sort of hybrid back four? Looked like a 4-4-2. So what do you make of it, Connor?
Well, it definitely worked because we played much better than we have previously.
Yeah.
I thought Romero played brilliantly in the back four. Lenglet was brilliant. Yeah, I thought the whole back four was good. And some of the well, I don't know if you saw, but was it Romero's playing long balls constantly as well? That was great.
Yeah.
The back four definitely
100%.
works.
You think so? We think it definitely works. Okay, fair enough. Thank you. I'm going to ask you the next question again. This one's from Tim. Tim says, looking at the players in the teams down the bottom who could get relegated, like Everton, like Leicester, for example, who would you bring in if you could choose one player for each of those teams? What do you reckon?
Me?
Yeah, you, Alfie.
Oh, James Ward-Prowse.
James Ward-Prowse in Southampton. Anyone from Everton or Leicester?
Leicester, Madison or Hubbarn for me, because their attacking got moved up insane.
Absolutely. What about Nottingham Forest action tonight? Would you take White or Brendan Johnson?
I think
Gibbs
for
White.
me, Morgan Gibbs White.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much for that, Alfie. Travis, next question is for you. Someone says who wishes to remain anonymous says, how do you feel about the club doing more and more defensive midfielders unnecessarily, in his opinion, like Frank Kessie, like Verratti, Tonali, when we already have like 4 or 5? So what do you make of that? And is that is that the right thing to do, or should the priority be in a different position, defence, for example?
Sorry, could you elaborate on that, please, Harry? I don't understand the question.
Sorry,
could you elaborate on that, Harry? I don't understand the question.
Okay, no worries. So basically, do you think it's right that the club are prioritising signing defensive midfielders? Like, what area do you think we should focus on to try and sign? Like, defence, is that an issue for you?
Defence is a massive issue for me. Again, going back to Eric Dyer, we need a strong-wielded centre back. It's been evident for years. Probably for the last 3, 4, maybe 5 seasons. I just don't think. I think Romero is top quality. I think he's been a good signing there. But at the same time, I think Ben Davies is past his sell by date. But again, it all falls down to Daniel Levy paying money out. You know, I mean, when you look at the strength that Manchester City have got as a defence, you know, it just overrules pretty much every other team in the league. I think Manchester United's defence, you know, they've got a proper. Even the small teams, Brentford have got their team sussed. As in is in defence. So yeah, defence for me is a massive problem at Tottenham. Again, down to individuals. But will Daniel Levy pay out? Probably not. He'll probably just get someone on a free transfer, or he'll look back to the academy squads to try and bring players through.
Yeah.
But the defence at Tottenham is a massive issue for me. Yes.
It certainly is. Lots of people would agree with you there. So thank you, Travis. Connor, next question, Barney. Signings in the summer. What would you like and who would you like?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Yeah, Barney says the hopes for new signings in the summer. Like, what players are you looking out for that you would like? And what positions do you think you like need?
So to begin with, you know, depending on who the new manager is, say if we were to get like Nagelsmann or something, it would be nice to have an attacking midfielder, someone who creates instead of Harry Kane having to do it all the time.
Like a
And then
Maddison
obviously,
for you?
yeah, like a Maddison. And you know, if Leicester are to get relegated, I think Daniel Levy should be straight over there offering money because his price tag would surely go down if they were to get relegated. I'd also like to say another centre back, but I'd personally like someone who's like a leader in centre back who can keep Romero in like not so, I don't know, like aggressive all the time. Someone who can just control him.
Yeah. Okay. No, fair enough. Good point. I think more than reasonable there. Alfie, I'm going to ask you the next question, if you don't mind. The next question, Alfie, is from Ben. Who was your man of the match for the game on Saturday?
My man of the match was Kane because he scored the goal, but not only that, he created the goal by passing it to Porro, but he never stopped. And after he went down with that injury, or knock he had, he carried on and carried on, and for me, he's unstoppable when he's in that kind of position. He's not one of them tapping merchants like Haaland and Jesus, who plays for, you know. And yeah, so Kane was my man of the match for me.
Okay, thank you. So his man of the match is Harry Kane. Ben said Emerson or Romero for me. Connor, I'm going to ask you the next question. Jam says, would you give Dane Scarlett a chance in Tottenham first team next season, or is it just too soon?
I saw that comment on your Twitter, and I saw it and I thought, nah. To be honest, I disagree. I can't see you can't just put Dane Scarlett straight into the squad. He's lacking experience. He's lacking everything really. He's just not. I personally don't think he's good enough, and I think he's quite overhyped. You know, so if you know, he may get another couple of years and eventually prove me wrong, but to be honest, I don't think he's gonna be anything special for Spurs. He could be special elsewhere, but I don't see it being for Spurs. No.
Not for you. Okay, fair enough. Thank you, Connor. Fair enough. Rachel, someone who wishes to remain us again, says, which of our loan players would you take back at Spurs in a fluid Nagelsmann? Like, say, if we're going to get Nagelsmann as our next manager, like all the players you've got out on loan, you know, the Ndombele's, the Lo Celsos, you know, who would you take back?
None.
None?
think they're
108 million out we've got on loan.
I want that that who plays that other, what's his name?
Doji.
I can't say his name.
Udogie.
Starts with you.
Yeah. I reckon he's a Doki because he plays for Udinese at the moment.
That's it.
We've signed him, but he's on loan at Udinese. One. Where do you think he's going to fit into the team?
At the moment, who knows? It depends on the manager, who we get, players we get in. It's just, we just don't know with Tottenham.
That's the thing. Yeah. Thank you, Rachel. Travis, I'm going to ask you the next question. Will says, where did it go wrong from this day 4 years ago? And for people who don't know, 4 years ago on this day was that special night, memorable night for the club in Amsterdam, which saw us go to Champions League final. You know, Lucas Moura getting that hat trick. You know, we went 3-0 down on aggregate, 2-0 down in the game. Really struggling. We overturned it 3-2 in what was one of the best nights probably of the club's history. So, Travis, what's gone wrong for you in the last 4 years? What's changed?
The confidence. I think games now show how quickly the team's confidence and morale can be knocked. And I think, as you say, that night when that Lucas Moura goal went in, that's the best night as a Tottenham fan for me that I've ever experienced. And I've supported Spurs for nearly 30 years of my life. But I think managers that we've had in, the way they've tried to change the style of football, and I think Poch, he used to like to play from the back. I think the last manager we've done that with might have been Conte, maybe. But I think the team's morale can be knocked so quickly. I mean, you've only got to watch the the Tottenham Amazon documentary, and how reactions are in the dressing room, you know, and the fights that the players have had on and off the pitch, you know, and I think ultimately for me, it boils down to which manager is in charge of our club.
Rachel, I believe you'll have to go if I'm right. So thank you for coming on. Anyone who doesn't know, Rachel's now a regular on the channel. So Rachel, for people who don't know, where can they find you on social media? Would you make of that the protests? Encourage people to attend them against Brentford?
Yes, I would. If you really, really want Levy out, I would turn up and stand with us and have your voice be heard. Whether people like it or not, my opinion is you want them out, you need to stand with the Eric Hout group.
100%. Thank you for coming on. You were fantastic. I will see you later.
Thank you. Bye.
I'll see you next Monday. Thank you. Goodbye, Rachael. So, Connor, I'm going to ask you the next question. And the next question is, let's bring it up again from Daniel, who says, realistically, who is your ideal Hugo, your ideal centre half to go along with Romero? So, Connor, for it.
So in defence, I'd like someone like Bastoni. I don't know how realistic that is, but I think he's a quality defender. And then in goal,
I'm naming you for you there, Connor, because in case Bastoni isn't realistic, let's say, for example, Crystal Palace is Mark Gay or Joachim Anderson. Would you take either of them?
Oh yeah, I'd definitely take both. I'd take both.
Yeah, do you think they improve our defence?
Totally, 100%. You know, Joachim Anderson he's almost got that like Alderweireld-esque kind of play to him, constantly pinging the long balls and stuff like that. But,
yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Connor.
When it comes down to Hugo, I'm not entirely sure, to be honest.
Anyone? Would you
Sorry,
take
I
that
think I've got mic delay.
David Ray? Yeah. Okay. That is definitely an interesting one. there any goalkeeper for you?
Perhaps like Pickford.
Pickford. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Travis, I'm going to ask you the final question. Predictions for Villa away. That was going to be my later question. So give me your score prediction.
I'm going 2-2.
You're going to go 2-2. Okay, fair enough. Connor, your score prediction?
Sorry, could you just remind me who we have this weekend? Oh wait, no, it's Villa. I didn't see that in the chat.
Aston Villa away.
Oh, I think we'll lose 2-1 or we'll draw 1-1.
Okay, fair enough. I was going to ask the predictions at the end, so I might as well give mine now. I'm going to go with 2-1 Aston Villa, sadly. I think they need that. It means a lot to them. They've lost 2 in a row. I just can't see Villa losing 3 in a row. So before we wrap this show up, I'm going to mention a couple more things. Travis, your thoughts on Romero's performance. I'll give you a stat here. Among the Tottenham Hotspur players, he was the first in touches with 96 touches, the first in clearances with 7, first in interceptions with 5, first in making 12 recoveries. I found that quite impressive. And first duels won. He won 9 out of 11 duels, and the 2 that he lost had no impact on goal whatsoever, which was good to hear. So Travis, what do you make of his performance and his season as a whole? Because lots of people have been quick to criticise Arrow. So what do you make of that criticism? And do you think it's just like they're kind of picking on him and they're picking on the wrong person? So what do you make of it?
Romero is an old-fashioned defender. He's an absolute monster in my opinion. I think he's probably as good as what Vincent Kompany was back in his prime. I think he gives his all season in, game in, game out, and I think he just needs to be managed a little bit better. Because obviously he's had a few red cards recently. He does go flying into challenges, but as a whole, as a defender, I think he's probably. So I know I said Vincent Kompany, but I think he's another Ledley King, personally.
Yeah, that can't be a bad thing at all, can it? Connor, what you made stats that I just read you, Romero and his season as a whole?
I think Spurs fans. I think where we've had such a poor season, people start to get really annoyed and they just look for anyone to blame. And unfortunately for Romero, some of that blame sometimes falls on him when, in fairness, it is quite often the players around him. But yeah, he had a very good game on Saturday against Palace. I really enjoyed watching him.
Yeah, okay. No, fair enough. That's fine. Travis, so how many points do we get from possible 9 points which we've got left? So remind you of our fixtures. We've got Villa away, Brentford at home, and Leeds United away on the final day of the season. How many points are we getting?
3 points from Leeds.
Just Leeds? Because do you reckon they'll be gone by then?
Yeah, I think we're going to struggle against Brentford. And I think we're going to really struggle against Villa. I think.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Connor, you go on, Travis.
I'll go on, so I'll finish now. Sorry, thank you.
You sure? That's all right, no problem. Connor, how many points going to get from a possible 9 with those 3 games? If you didn't hear, just to remind you, that is Villa away next weekend, Brentford at home the following weekend, and Leeds United away from home at Ellen Road on the Sam Allardyce's Leeds United on the final day of the season, which they could be gone by then, or they could somehow be safe by then. So how many points are we getting, Connor?
Well, I think we'll definitely beat Leeds, fingers crossed, but we should really be beating Leeds, the quality that we have. And then as for Brentford and Villa, I think we could upset one of them. Could take 3 points against one of them, but realistically, I think we'll probably maybe finish with about 4 points from the remaining 3.
4 points remaining 3. Fair enough. I think we're going to get 4 points, to be honest with you. I think we lose against Villa, but I think we beat Brentford. I think that's 3. Leeds United, I can't see us going there and winning. I think even if they're gone, I think that's a point or nothing. I just know we'll go away from home. Teams like Leeds, I think. Travis, coming back to you, bit of manager talk before we end today's show. So Vincent Kompany signed a new deal in the week with Burnley's contract extension until 2028. So assuming that is him off the list to be the next Spurs permanent manager next season. Did you want him anyway? In the first place, and what do you make of that?
I never wanted him. I think the whole spectacle around it and the fact that it was even talked about getting Vincent Kompany was just complete rubbish, to be honest with you. I think he is a player. Obviously, he was brilliant back in his day, but I think as a manager, I think he's in the right place with Burnley, because I think any player that becomes a manager should kind of start off in that league to bolster their confidence up and obviously their experience. I don't think they should automatically be brought into the Premier League like Frank Lampard was. Would he be right for Tottenham? I don't think so.
Okay, fair enough. And put you on the spot here. Who would be your top 3 managers that you, particularly in order, but just give me 3 managers that you wouldn't mind seeing be the next top manager?
Employed or unemployed at the moment?
Can be either.
I'd go Pep Guardiola, Julian Nagelsmann, and I want to say Poch, but I think the fans loved Poch because of who he was and what he'd done in our club. So I'm very much on the fence with Poch, but yeah, it'd be Pep, Nagelsmann, or probably Luis Enrique.
Yeah, I think there's definitely 2 of them are definitely realistic. The only one I can't see happening is Pep, to be honest with you. But you just never know. Tottenham surprises a lot. So you never, who knows? Can't know. So what do you make of Vincent Kompany's contract extension with Burnley until 2028? Did you want him anyway? Secondly, give me your top 3 managers.
So I think Kompany should stay at Burnley for his sake, because we've seen what Spurs recently have done to good managers' reputations. So look at Conte, look at Mourinho. Mourinho, before he joined us, had won a trophy at every single club. Yeah, Nuno as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as for that, I think Kompany needs to stay at Burnley for a couple more seasons, or at least in a season in the Prem, before he can think about taking the step up to a bigger job. And as for my 3 top managers, it's got to be Nagelsmann, Poch, which I'm like the same. I'm a little bit on the fence about it, but who else is there really? And then Luis Enrique.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you, Connor. There you go. So that's top 3 managers. For me, I wouldn't have minded to see Kompany anyway, but he wasn't my number 1. I wish him all the best at Burnley. I think it's the right thing right now. It'd be great. You got what you wanted, taking Burnley to the Premier League, and credit to him. Short space of time, completely different brand of football. It'd be crazy to change anything. Crazy to go elsewhere at the moment, the situation we're in. And Burnley, it's a good place, a good feel at the moment. Top 3 managers, I would definitely Nagelsmann and Poch have got to be in there. And the third one, it could be anywhere from Ruben Amorim. Could be, take the Zale, I can't see him coming. I'd take Thomas Frank. I'd take Arne Slot. There's quite a few I'd take. But the only ones I don't want is probably Brendan Rodgers or Luis Enrique for me, just because I personally are out there, but lots of people would disagree.
Would you take
Brighton lost 5-1 to Everton tonight. part of me, surprisingly, right, I usually I would, but it is hard after just watching what he's done with Chelsea. If you have a look around, Lampard's doing no better, and Tuchel don't know better at the start of the season. So it's clearly a beyond the manager issue at the moment at Chelsea. He was not the problem. He may have been part of it. Yet, as he works well with younger players, there's a project there. I think he'd done well with Brighton, but at the same time, the only reason I wanted him is because I thought he'd done fantastic. Brighton, but De Zerbi's doing an even better job. So I'm right in the middle with that. Again, he wouldn't be in my top 3 or 5, but I wouldn't probably say Enrique and Rodgers for me. But no, this is a good question, Connor. Would you take Graham Potter?
Probably not, but that's mainly because of the all of the Chelsea managers we seem to always go for.
Yeah, we need to break the cycle, don't we? Really?
Yeah.
Definitely. So lost 5-1, and Brighton are just 2 points behind us. They've got 2 more games to play, which worries me slightly. So do you think they will above us, Connor?
I don't know, because it all boils down to experience, and they are at the moment.
They've got some hard games in there, Brian.
They've
got
obviously
like
we're
Arsenal, they've got
experienced getting
City,
top 4.
Yeah.
But I think they've obviously slipped up today. They could slip up again, but I think it'll be quite tight. And
They surprised me 5-1 as well.
They lost recently to someone else like that, didn't they?
Yeah, no, they probably did. Brighton fans, to social media and like we put in that performance against Man United and win. We turn up for the big games, but we can't, deliver against Everton. Not only to lose at home to Everton, it's the fact you lose 5-1. That is just not heard of this season.
To a McNeil hat-trick.
Travis. Yes, McNeil hat-trick as well. And when was the last time he scored? Travis, Brian, finished above us, yes or no?
Sorry?
Do you think Brighton are going to finish above us, or do you think we're going to finish above them? Because they're 2 points behind. They've got 2 more games, but their fixture list is slightly tougher than ours.
Who have they got next?
Let's have a look who Brighton got next. They've got some tough ones. I've got a feeling it might be Arsenal. Yeah, Arsenal away. Let me read out Brighton's remaining games to everyone, actually, because they've got quite a few. They've got Arsenal away, Newcastle away, Southampton at home. Southampton should be gone by then, I reckon. Manchester City at home. Yeah, that is it. Manchester City at home, and then Aston Villa away. So we've got some tough ones in there. The main ones are City, Villa, Newcastle, and Arsenal all in there. So will they finish above us? They have got 2 more games to play.
I think it's a tough one with Brighton. Obviously, I know they've been absolutely stunk tonight, 5-1 by Everton. But Brighton on their day are a very, very good side. I've dreaded playing them for the last 2 seasons because of how well they play. But I think they could get quite a few points out of the remaining fixtures. One, I think they could beat Arsenal, because I think they're gonna completely bottle the league anyway. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Tottenham fan. I strongly think that Arsenal are going to bottle the league. And
however, it has to. I hate to say it, Travis, but yesterday, to be fair, the performance they put in, to go to St James's Park and win, only the second team to do it. So to be fair, that was impressive. But Arsenal obviously have played that game more, still a point behind, and still got some tough fixtures in there. So I do think City will do it. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think City are going to win it. I don't think Pep's going to let it slip. When you've got Erling Haaland playing for your team, I think he's going to want to win his first Premier League title. I think he's going to be an absolute monster his last game of the season. I think we're going to see him play some football that we've not seen him play yet, considering he has played very well. But yeah, I think we'll finish above Brighton, but I think literally by the skin of its teeth. I think, but again, it's going back to sorry to change the subject, Harry, but I think whatever
Yeah,
manager we get, I think we're going to have the same outcome as what we had with Mourinho and Conte and Poch, because I just don't think they're going to get the backing. I really don't.
No? Okay, fair enough. I'm going to ask you quickly, just for all I want is just a position. Where you think we're going to finish? Connor, where are we finishing? Just give me the position.
6th.
6th for Connor. Travis?
8th.
8th. That is no European football, and Connor thinks we're going to get Europa League. I think we're finished 6th, and that is being slightly ambitious. That means we finish above Aston Villa and Brighton. I mean, part of that is next weekend. So finally, Travis, what will be your team to face Aston Villa, and what change you want to see? Because it's a big game. Yeah, it's not Crystal Palace. You know, the higher position than them, away from home as well. What do we need to go to Villa Park and do? And what do you want to see, you know, in that start?
I think we need to go to Villa Park. Is it at Villa Park or at Tottenham?
It's at Villa Park. We beat
Villa
our
Park.
stadium, I'm afraid, 2-0. Yeah.
I think we need to go to Villa Park and play the game like it's a cup final. I know when Stellini was there, he said we've got to play our last 7 games as if they are a cup final. But if that's how we're playing cup finals, then we're never going to get anywhere. But yeah, we need to go to Villa Park and just go all out. But he needs to play a 3-4-3, completely drop Eric Dyer. I'll probably play Romero, Clement Longley. I don't think he's put a foot wrong, and probably Sanchez. I think Sanchez needs to get back on the pitch after obviously what happened to him the last week. Yeah, and we can't play 4 at the back. It is obvious we cannot play 4 at the back because we're too open as a team. Just needs to be a back 3. Again, keep the midfielders as Skip and Højbjerg. I'll probably keep Pedro Porro out on the wing, and obviously Kane and Sonny up top.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Agree there. Thank you very much, Travis. Connor, so what changes to the team do you want to see against Aston Villa, and what do we need to go to Villa Park and win?
I feel like the starting 11 that we played against Palace will probably do for the game. I'd like to see Emerson again. I thought Emerson, you know, I know he got a lot of stick at the start, but I've slowly started to warm to him, and I feel comfortable when he plays now. But yeah, so I think, to be honest, it will be the same lineup. You've got a few players who have been pretty good for the last couple of months. Like, not many, but you got Skip. I really appreciated him since he's come in for Bentancur. I thought Son was brilliant last week, so I think he deserves to start, and hopefully he can find form again. But besides that, to be honest, yeah, I really do think it's going to be the same team.
Okay, thank you. So thank you both for coming on today. Both of you have been fantastic. And thank you everyone for tuning in. A lot of people at times, and thank you all for your questions put forward on Twitter this morning. Thank you to every single individual in the comments. And thanks to every individual watcher, viewer, listener, subscriber. The channel's very close to 700 subs. Thank you. Subs gained again today during the show, so really appreciate that. We're now just 20 away from 700 subs, and the goal was 700 subs for the end of the season. That is definitely realistic now because of you guys. So thank you all very much. It's much appreciated here. Travis, where can people find you? And if did you want to say something about mental health and what you do and where you stand in that?
Well, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, and I'm on Instagram. Obviously, I don't know if my Twitter account is on this stream. Obviously, it's on the Twitter
All right,
page.
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm on Instagram as well. What was the other question? Sorry, Harry.
Did you want to say something about mental health?
Yeah, I'd like to do a bit on it. If we could do another podcast at some point. I'm a mental welfare ambassador. So I help people with their mental health conditions. Normally in the workplace, but I do it outside of work as well. So I think if it is something that can be spoken about, then brilliant.
Absolutely, yeah. No, thank you, Travis. And we all know how important mental health is, and to speak to someone about it if you're struggling, which is, harder, easy said than done for sure. Connor, thank you for coming on. Where can people find you on social media, and tell me a little bit more about Hotspur Things?
So I started it up in February because I want to be a sports journalist. And when I go to college next year, that's what I'm doing. I'm doing a sports journalism course. But yeah, I've started this up because I think it's good practice. You can find me. I'm only on Twitter, Hotspur_things. But yeah, I'm slowly on my way to 200 followers.
That is good for someone who started in February. Yeah, you can find me there. My Twitter handle's there, HarryScarf22. I'm on all socials. I think you can find me on TikTok, also HarryScarf22 with daily football content. Here on YouTube, the channel Scarfy Spurs Talk. As I said, we're very close to 700 subs. You've got those pretty much daily Spurs content, and now the weekly podcast every Monday, 8 p.m. with always having special guests on the channel. Chill. Big up everyone, appreciate all the support. So you can find me there and check out Hotspur Things, Connor on social media, and Travis. Thank you all. You're all fantastic. But as we always say on this channel, come on you Spurs.
Up the Spurs.